Hello everyone, today in my presentation I'll be talking about some of the major threats which companies are facing in this information system era and how these threats can be addressed. So beginning with, I'll be talking about what is data and what is data security. After that, I'll be taking an example of a sports club and how the information system are stored and how information systems stored are accessible to the public and how this information is becoming an threat to the company. To begin with, let's define what data is. Data is any type of stored digital information. Data exists in a variety of forms, mainly text on paper, bytes stored in electronic memory. Companies such as the corporate industry, they need to store data, and these data sometimes include financial documents, employees' HR information, stock data, and etc. The security and confidentiality of these data are very important to us. Since this data is very sensitive to the company, so data security becomes an important issue. So data security, what is data security? Data security is a way to maintain the integrity of data and to make sure that the data is not accessible and by unauthorized parties or susceptible to corruption of data. In simple terms, it means making the data secure or protecting the data at all costs. As stated before, I'll be talking about major threats to sports clubs. An example I've taken. Sports organization or clubs, they hold very sensitive information. These informations include game plans, athlete negotiation strategies, medical records of athletes, sponsorship deals, and payroll information. Why am I saying that sports organization hold very sensitive information? Because sports organization hold value in everything they stand for. For example, they have a very large fan following, the team owners and players alike, and they also hold massive monetary value. A very good example is Manchester City. Manchester City recently they have lost a lot of sensitive information towards the general public, and just because of that, this information that was lost has become a controversial issue in the world of football, and they have been suspended to play in Europe, and further consequences will be coming up, and these are the major threats that the companies are also facing in any other industry. Some of the threats they include the software failure, malware, human errors, and security breaches. Therefore, the question arises: how can this information, which are so sensitive to the companies and the industries, can be addressed? So here are some of the examples which can be used to solve some of these issues. All users access to this sensitive data must be logged. That means if any user is using these informations, they need to have a login command and login to this sensitive data, and you need to have login user report, right? Control physical access to this data center, right? If the data is stored in a particular area, then the company needs to have a physical access, to give physical access such as biometrics and some other security ways to help them uh, keep their things protected. Use firewalls on publicly when connections, like shutting down unused ports, having antivirus and malicious software protections on all systems, activate a fraud alert, ignore phishing mails, and lastly, we need and the company needs to be remain vigilant. They need to regularly check their credit reports to make sure they have no unauthorized access. So if the companies use some of these addressing issues, then they might be able to cap the issue of these threats to their companies, the information that can be leaked. So informations in information systems or data are very important to any of the company, whether it be corporate company, whether it being a small company. These informations are very important, and they need to be protected at our cost. Thank you very much.